Alrighty boys, for today's video I'm going to be ranking all of the Soulsborne games. These are games that I really love. I think many of us do. I've had so much fun over the years playing all of these games. Now I will say that I've never had the privilege of playing Demon Souls, so until I have a PS5 at some point in the near future, hopefully, uh, I will not be ranking Demon Souls, okay? But I will be ranking all of the others, alright? The first one I have here is Dark Souls 3. Now, Dark Souls 3 was my first ever Souls game, uh, so I might be a bit biased with ranking this. Also, by the way, I will be like shuffling these around once all six of them are on here because it's hard to tell without ranking them. So let's see. Dark Souls 3. Amazing game. Very cool level design, very cool bosses. It also has pretty cool weapons and spells, I would say. Um, I'm gonna put it at 3 right now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it at 3 right now. The DLCs, both really good as well. Uh, yeah, I think it's third place for right now. Over here we have Dark Souls 2. Now, I've never been able to finish Dark Souls 2. I'm going to put it right there at the sixth spot. Now, listen, all of these games are good games, right? But Dark Souls 2, I know there's people dedicated to playing Dark Souls 2. I know there's a lot of people who like the game. I'm one of the people, sadly enough, who does not like the game. The combat is horrendous, and that's kind of what these games are all about, right? The combat is horrendous. It's like you're fighting underwater. It's horrible. There are some good things I can say about it, but mostly it's just a horrible experience to me. I uninstall the game every time that I reinstall it. So number 6 easily. Don't need to think about that or move this one around at all. Then I have Elden Ring up next. All right. Here's my thing with Elden Ring. I'm gonna put it at 2, at least for right now, right? Elden Ring has better bosses, weapons, lore, pretty much all of it. It does better than Dark Souls 3, right? Which is very, very good. It's a great thing. But the one thing with Elden Ring is that the first playthrough of Elden Ring is like super fun. It's better than any other FromSoft game. But after the first playthrough, the fact that Elden Ring is open world based kind of shoots itself in the foot because this is where Dark Souls 3 is so much fun with like more and more playing through it, is that you already know the layout. You can just go to your bosses that you need to slay with a certain build that you want to try, right? In Elden Ring, it's like you gotta go grab key fragments over there, you gotta go to this elevator over there, you gotta activate this thing in the world to access that place. It's a whole lot of mumbo jumbo that's fun at first. It's like a joke, right? A joke that you hear for the first time, great, awesome. It's the best joke you ever heard. But when you heard the joke for the 10th time, it's kind of like, all right, I'm fed up. I've heard it enough, right? And that's what burned me out with Elden Ring is that to do like other builds and play through IDs and stuff, you have to go through all of that open world hassle that is fun the first time around, not so much fun the 10th time around. So cannot put Elden Ring at number 1 as much as I would like to. Next up we have Bloodborne. Yeah, I feel pretty good with putting Bloodborne at number 4. I think Bloodborne's trick weapons are amazing. Some of the bosses are really cool. Uh, the Here's the thing with Bloodborne, the setting, the costumes and everything, it's too gray, right? It's all I mean, I know it's like part of the lore, right? It's like part of what the game is, but it's just a little bland in comparison to other Souls games. That's my thing with Bloodborne. I feel like you've kind of seen it all after one or two playthroughs because there's not much to see. If I don't know, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's just how I see Bloodborne. It's very fun to play every now and then, don't get me wrong, but it's far from these two, right? Now in terms of gameplay, yes, you have the parry system with guns, which is very cool. And I think that that in itself, as well as that you can recover health, is better than Dark Souls and Elden Ring, but everything else is worse. So I have to put it beneath them, right? Next up we have Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Now, yeah, Sekiro, I'm gonna have to put it at number one. If you don't agree, that's completely fine. It's just, yeah, Sekiro, you don't, I mean, you have skins like once you've completed certain, challenges, I guess, after the main game and stuff, but yeah, like you kind of always look the same. You always have your two blades and you have your prosthetic arm, but it's like you can unlock skills via like, these skill maps and you have other tools for your arms, so it doesn't really get that boring or stale. Yes, obviously your options are a lot less than in these type of games, but overall, mechanical wise, the parry system, the counter system, the techniques that bosses use against you, if you finished Sekiro, let me put it that way, you will probably agree with me placing Sekiro at number one because it unironically is the best game. And lore-wise, of course, it depends, right? I think Elden Ring is the best game lore-wise. That's probably also because of how huge the world is. But Sekiro has a really good, solid lore and story as well. There's nothing wrong with it. Uh, it might not be as, humongous as Elden Ring, of course, but I think it's a very nice lore, and that, of course, also depends on whether you even like, samurai lore, stuff like that, or if you're more into medieval stuff, like Dark Souls 3, for example, right? So it all comes down a bit to personal preferences, but I think at least gameplay-wise, we can all agree, if you have finished Sekiro, you know how good it is gameplay-wise, right? Last one we have is Dark Souls 1. I have to put Dark Souls 1 at 5. Don't get me wrong, it still leagues better than Dark Souls 2. But and I mean, luckily, right? Luckily, these games that came after it are better, right? It's just Dark Souls is a fun game. It's the easiest out of all of them, in my opinion. Uh, there's not that much else to say, right? These games do everything better than it, but it's a very nice game, and we will never forget Artorias and his wolf, right? But yeah, I also have to say, in terms of lore, I don't know that much lore about Dark Souls. So their storytelling either wasn't that great yet, or there's just not that much lore in the game. But yeah, I have to put it at 5. These others are just better. Now, let me know in the comments down below if you agree with my ranking and my reasoning. And if not, let me know why you don't agree with it. Please, if you're going to leave a comment or, like criticism basically, please make sure that you've at least played through the game at least once, the one that you're like disagreeing about and stuff like that. Because if you don't really have experience with a game on here and you're going to tell me I'm wrong, then it's kind of like, you should probably play the game first before telling me that I'm wrong. Okay? But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video and peace.